Greetings and salutations to you people of the interwebs, and welcome to another episode of Bistow's regular broadcast. I say regular. So this is kind of a show about you. It's about me. It's mostly about me, but it's also about you and your comments and your questions on all that type of shenanigans, so we can have a bit of a back and forth and back interaction on the interwebs and all that kind of thing. So we're going to start off with some responses, and one of them is going to lead into a more kind of discussion, more of a discussion, maybe just me bitching and moaning about things because I don't like what they were back in the day. Right, Snoke's Spinal Tap has said it was an awesome vid and shirt, so like the shirt I was wearing. Hopefully this one is also to your taste. I've worn this one before. We're just going to cycle through these shirts. Graham Luke had the same VHS, the Colour Primitives VHS, as I did. He bought in Woolworths, as many years ago. He says MP Dinobot is looking pretty good, and he really liked Flash Gordon, and recently watched the Masters of the Universe film. It was as enjoyable as he remembered it. So yeah, I don't know. The Masters of the Universe film never really stuck with me. I just didn't. I wanted to see more of the old characters, from the cartoons than were. It's because I like the bad guys, and I don't think they did enough of the classic bad guys in that film. Even though we like Blade, or one of those new ones, whatever. SMS number one. Give me a hashtag. Hashtag too old for today's YouTube. I think we are. We are, Dave. We are too old for this. I don't know if it's more of a too old for this kind of like Twitch streaming type of stuff that's so all the fad nowadays. Maybe we can find a way to reignite our old cause and become hip and trendy. No. C4 Dark Main said, well, you like Flash Gordon. How about some of that Flesh Gordon? Hey. Now, Flesh Gordon was... I don't even think it really existed for a while, but it did. I found it on VH. I found a copy of Flesh Gordon 2. They made two of them. They made Flesh Gordon got a sequel. Flash Gordon didn't. That's the kind of fucked up world we're living in right now. And it's kind of a... say porn parody, but it's more like tits and ass, and there was a giant claymation cock monster in it, and so it's a bit more slap and tickle than today's hardcore. When they do a porn parody, they really do a porn parody, go out for it, graphic, Shaving Privates Shaving Ryan's Privates, or whatever they call them. Yeah, it's proper just... Ugh. But Flesh Gordon was... Yeah, it was more of just a weird kind of... We'll do Flash Gordon, but we'll put more tits and ass in it, which, ultimately did not make it as erotic as the actual Flash Gordon with Ornella Mutai, fully clothed, was a hell of a lot more sexy than anything they put on screen. Right. Damn you hussies. He would prefer some kind of more weird cross-cultural cinema remake of Flash Gordon, so gets some other people from maybe different kinds of cinema, kind of make something. He's the name director of Bong Joon How. I'm ignorant of this guy. I don't know who he is. So if you've got any films you'd like to suggest of him, leave him below. It says American films nowadays put too much of a nod and a wink in it. And don't really, they play up the irony because they've got they're not subtle. The problem nowadays is that if you play it too subtle, people won't know you're joking. And I think that's... Well, we'll know they're joking, but there's a lot of cinema audiences will think you're being serious and it's just shit rather than it just being. It's a hard line to cross. It's hard to make that kind of weirdness without it being just being perceived as being actually weird rather than it trying to be weird. But you'd like to see the bizarreness kind of played straight rather than, hey, look at us, we're doing funny things. David Lockie, Cool Ink, I think he was referring to the Triceratops tattoo I have. He has a Thundercats one and a Decepticon logo. David Lockie was also the winner of the Mystery Prize last time. So we'll tell you what the Mystery Prize was. It was a one of those gold bugs that I reviewed, the Mech Planet gold bug. He won one of those. He won the Street Fighter crossover Ken figure, which was a repaint of Hot Rod into Ken from Street Fighter. He won a little figurine of the Star Wars character Kit Fisto, and also a tub of Bisto gravy granules. So that was the prize, and he seems to have enjoyed it, which is always good. Right. Hot Rodney Prime, he said that he loved the video. He agrees that they're trying to, trying to recreate 80s stuff. He's kind of never really works. They need to make something their own thing. He'd like to see more of a comic adaptation with maybe Edgar Wright helming it and get some of his friends, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, along for the ride, and keep the Queen soundtrack. Keep it. Don't remaster it. Don't fiddle with it. Keep the soundtrack. So that'd be quite, I like it, but if I want to listen to the Queen soundtrack, I could put the Queen soundtrack on. I can watch the old film. I just think that maybe find someone else to do a soundtrack, but not copy, but make it their own thing. It's trust people. We're doing so many remakes and so many different reinterpretations of things, but we never trust people to make their own thing and just kind of go out there and go, this is all the parts, just make something out of it, rather than, but we're always very dictative, but no, you need to keep this and you need to keep that and you need to have this element in it. No, trust people to make something new. Talk about making something new, he also asks, what is the most disappointing Transformers line? Now, I'm going to preface this with saying, this is going to be a bit of a discussion, that I don't own any figures with this line because this line is new. But what I've seen of this line, I do not like. And that is Transformers Cyberverse. Now, many of you might look at me and go, Richard, relax. That is a kid's toy line. It doesn't matter. It's just some shitty kids' toys. But the shitty kids' toys, that's the problem. That is the problem with me. I'm a big fan of Transformers, always have been since, they first came out when I was a wee child. And we weren't dumbed down or spoken down to or given. Some of the figures were a bit flimsy, but, on the main, on the whole, they tried to do a very good job with these figures. And Cyberverse looks the worst, really, ever, of figures. The Robots in Disguise Bumblebee, the latest one, they had some weird figures, they had some gimmick figures, but some of the Warrior class figures were actually alright. They transformed alright, they looked alright, but all this Cyberverse stuff looks like flimsy tat. It looks like flimsy tat. So there's a journey as a child to more adult collector of Transformers at the moment. There's a journey that we go through. Well, no, I go through because I didn't have these back then. But it starts with rescue bots. Have you ever been in the store and seen a rescue bot toy? They're big, they're clunky, they're made for toddlers so they can throw them around, they can put them in their mouths, they can do whatever with them. But they've also got a lot of characters to them. They've got very simple transformations. not much in the way of articulation, but the big characterful head sculpts and all this type of stuff going on with them. I have no problem whatsoever with Rescue Bot toys. I don't own a single one of them, but I'm glad they exist. For me, for young kids, little toddlers, for that being their first introduction to Transformers, they're fucking brilliant. They're brilliant. They look brilliant for what they are, for who they're aimed at. They achieve exactly what they set out, I believe, to achieve. And it's one of the longest running Transformers cartoon series is Rescue Bots. Think on that. Now, Cyberverse, the new flavour of the month, you then transition from those big sturdy bots you could squeeze and throw and thing to just these things that look like if you look at them wrong, they will collapse apart and shatter into pieces. The flimsy, cheap plastic, just the bad gimmicks overriding the entire figure. Hollowness. Thin plastic. It's an abomination. It just doesn't. The through line there. Imagine just having a kid and they're like, oh well, the kid's a bit too old now for those rescue bots. Let's get them into the next line, the Cyberverse, and you give them that. It's going to put them off Transformers. That's my issue. I don't think and for kids that hadn't played with rescue bots and they go straight onto Cyberverse, you don't want a kid's first impression of Transformers being these bits of garbage, do you? No. You want good figures, and they're not good figures. They need to have just improved the articulation, gone on, took what was going on good in Rescue Bots, improved in the articulation slightly, maybe, made them a little bit more complex, maybe brought in plot elements that were a bit more complex, more bad guys, more sort of like shades of grey, more, rather than like this is how you behave and you be good and all this type of stuff in Rescue Bots, and to sometimes people have a different opinion of you. Sometimes there's conflict in life. That kind of through line. But no, it's just these the show might be very good, but from what I've seen and what I've seen of people's reviews of these figures, the figures are hot garbage. And the excuse that they're just kids' toys should not be let fly, because kids deserve better than that. Kids get better than that earlier on, and will get better than that after that. It's just this kind of dip in quality in the Transformer lines. So that's my pence, my 10 pence, my fiver into that debate. So if you have a different opinion than that, let me know. If you agree with that, let me know. If you have any questions that brings out from that, let us know below. And as always, if you have any ideas for topics of debate, give us some questions below, and we'll see what happens next time in the next edition of... If you can think of a really good name for this segment, where we just have a bit of a back and forth, bit of interaction, all that type of stuff. Bistow's regular broadcast, that kind of works. I'm going to call this video the subscriber show. Let's just see. I want to see how, when looking through my, people get the, subscriptions lists, what title do you think could stand out more? To get people who are subscribed to me to go, I'm going to click on that and watch that, because they're calling it BRB might not necessarily be the thing that pulls people in, but maybe the subscriber show might, or maybe a title that you guys can think of that can let me know. You do my work for me. I mean, I say work, I don't get paid, so yeah. Also, I don't know if I'm too distant from the camera. Maybe I'm not distant enough. A lot of people have a similar distance. A lot of people like to have it right there, right in your face. I don't know if that's a me type of thing. That seems just a bit too close and maybe a bit too personal for me. I like to just have a little bit, a bit of arm's length, bit of personal space and all that. But I don't know. A lot of people do like that kind of right in your face kind of thing. So if you've got any advice about titles or camera angles and all that type of stuff, let us know in the comments below. And if you've got any questions or topics of conversation, also let me know in the doobly-doo below you. Until then, why don't you party on down? Party on down. Be excellent to each other. Hopefully, I will get MP Dinobot tomorrow, and he will then be reviewed for this week's Transformer of the Week on the weekend. Till then, I'm excited. Yeah, imagine that. MP Dinobot. I'm just trying to find now the signal to actually stop this camera because something's going wrong with the Bluetooth connection. So if you can just bear with us. It's a game of errors, as always, on this channel. Technology, I love it. I'm from West Orton, which many of you don't know is a town near Bolton, and Bolton and West Orton were quite big in the Luddite movement. This is when they started making mills and such, and people who used to hand loom their cotton would start getting put out of work because they had these big mills that were, getting orphans and shit to do everything on machines that they used to do by hand, and so they could make stuff a lot quicker and a lot more and produce a lot more than they could. So they're getting put out of work. So they had this Luddite movement. What they do is to stop the rolling march of progress, they'd go out at night in masks and burn these mills down. So, I think something in that is a part of my genetic code where technology does not like to work for me. So I don't know if I can press